Happy Monday morning, everyone. This is Stacy Turner with our DMOpro Zoom. I hope you're having a wonderful 4th of July weekend. It's kind of hard to say 4th of July weekend when 4th of July is not on the weekend and it's not the weekend anymore, but you know what I mean. I hope you're going to be getting together with some family, or you may already have. This happens to be my mom's favorite holiday, and there are some really great fireworks in this small town that she's from in Carlsbad, New Mexico. If you're ever around for 4th of July, we go out to the river, and it really is it's good from all the places. Although Boston downtown, I would highly suggest going to that. We went to MIT and saw the fireworks on the Charleston River one time, and off of all of the big buildings. It was pretty amazing, but we had a guy that he drove us in and out, and that's why it was fun. So that was 20 years ago. I guess you could get an Uber to do that now. But we had a great time. So I hope you've got some plans. Somebody asked me, are you guys buying fireworks? And I said, no, I really just don't like to burn money. But I know some people love that, to set money on fire and watch it burn. I just personally don't. I would rather use it for something fun. But even if it's a chicken wing or something, I can eat that at least. I don't really enjoy watching money burn, but all the different things, right? So much to celebrate, to be thankful for. Sometimes it's nice just to kind of sit back and think, what is all of this about? Why are we, celebrating the 4th of July? What does it have to do with anything now, present day, right? And just kind of ground ourselves in that. So I hope that you take some time to be able to do that and just enjoy family. And yeah, somebody said, unless it's somebody else's money. I like watching their money burn up in the sky, just not mine. Yeah, I can agree to that one. So, all right. Well, I wanted to chat with you guys again. I think we can bring back this conversation still about this 90-day challenge that our company has put out, this new, our new CEO. And it's funny how, man, it's so easy to get in our heads about it all, right? I would rather just analyze it all and then analyze it again, and then probably for the third or fourth time, and it's day 3 and I haven't even sent one message. So who's the winner on that one, right? It's really about the action. I put a message in here in our DMO chat from Shelly Mackey this morning, and I thought it was really great, where she was just let's honor the new CEO, and that's what he's asked us to send. Let's just send it. And she did feel like he was very intentional about using those words. And as I listened to her message, I was again reminded, it's so much just about the confidence that you walk into with it, right? You can find the perfect words and not have much passion with them because they've been tweaked and they've been perfected to when you're pulling pieces from others and you're just okay, these are the perfect words. And it really isn't you, or it really isn't, you're not just super passionate about that. So I loved the passion that she had. We all know Shelly for her passion. That's why she's amazing. And confidence. She always says, your confidence is going to pull them forward. Your confidence is going to impact the people that you're talking to. And as we overcome objections in our own head, but especially as we're talking to other people, it's why are we shocked that there's objections when, we talk to somebody? Of course, there's going to be objections. Perfect world, we share the product one time and they're oh yeah, it's exactly what I wanted. And they hand us the credit card. Maybe that's happened twice in 20 years. Sadly, it's not all the time, but really it's in the objection cycle that you really get to know them. You get to find out what is the solution that they're looking for. What's the problem that they're having? And then you get to serve them in a whole different way. And, we had an event the other night and had some people over, and they were in a re-engage class that I've talked to you guys about, in the marriage class that we were facilitating. And so over time, as I built the relationship with them, I was able to invite them to come to some health events. They were out of town, they just never could, but they were interested. And so they came this time, and I didn't know where they were at. I really haven't had like health conversation with them. I just asked, they were interested and they came. And when you have a big group of people, after the event, we were making smoothies and talking, but I still didn't really get to sit down and talk like, what is it that you're looking for? They both ordered the quad. So of course, why would I not invite her to be a part of the team? Her name is Laura. I hope she comes on here at some point. She does work full time, but she speaks fluent Spanish, like beautifully. And I was like, yes, I need some help with that in this area. There's so many Spanish speakers and I don't speak any Spanish. Like there's just people I cannot reach without that language barrier. So I was super excited to have her joining us. And, the verbiage I used is, you might want to do what I do. And I've shared that verbiage with you guys before. And, I pay $52 a year. You'll get some, 10% back on your own orders and anyone else that orders with you. You're already talking about your daughter and your sister that you want to share this with. To me, it just seems like an easy fit. Is that something you're interested in? She's like, all right, without a lot of detail or anything. She was like, okay, she was so agreeable. And then, I saw her yesterday at church and was able to just connect with her. But before they left, I said, okay, tell me, what is it that you guys are looking for? Do you have any health issues, something that's specific that you're wanting to, help nutrition overcome? And neither one of them said anything, outstanding. But it did give me sort of like a baseline. Okay, I can just keep educating from the basics of how nutrition helps our body, right? Like they said, more energy, kind of some of the basic things, but nothing major. And so had they said something major, I could go out and find a video, a resource, a tool to help back that up. It's not the first resource I'm going to send somebody, but I could send it as a resource, as a further education. But to me, I was like, okay, I think it's the community. I really think she just wants to be a part of what we're doing. They enjoyed the company and the fellowship and just the, conversation. They knew other people there that I didn't know that they would be connected with. And so there's so many aspects to our business that we just don't want to take for granted. And one of the biggest parts of all conversations is that confidence that you're walking into the conversation without hesitating. And I think over time that gets better, but it's like what happens before the events, what happens before the conversations, and how we set that up in our head can really sort of trip us up. And because we can get into our heads. And there was a message that Catherine Lee sent to us in our NMD group that I'll forward on to you guys, but I tried to transcribe it this morning. I mean, it was like 10 minutes before we hopped on here and I was like, that is like gold. So I want to put it into some sort of form that we can have to read it. To me, I can't just hear it. I want to see it. And then, but she was talking to a team member about doing a booth, like a trade show booth. And she was also talking about, being 4th of July, any holiday, when we're around other people, it's going to take us being really intentional to bring the conversation forward, to be able to share with those around us. We're around people we're not typically around. So take, I don't want to say take advantage of, but like be intentional about that opportunity this next couple of days. Who are you, in contact with, friends or family or whatever? You don't have to go into like a Juice Plus presentation. And it's just listening for the need, bringing it into the conversation, but just being intentional with little things to get the conversation in that direction. But she was talking to this gal about doing a booth. And she said, this is, a booth is really a way to open your pipeline and get you in front of new people. And for any of those of you guys that are new, if you've never heard of what that is, like opening your pipeline or having a pipeline of people, just think of it as like, if water is flowing through a pipeline, you want water in that line, right? And so you need people to you need to talk to people, to have people to follow up with, to be able to get their order, to be able to invite them to the team. So if there's nobody in there, if there's nobody in your pool, if you think of it even that way, then who do you follow up with? So a booth is an easy way to get a larger number of people really quickly into the pool or into that pipeline, so that you can send them videos and begin to follow up with them. So that is a beautiful thing about those events. There might be county fairs that are coming up for you guys. I know the county fair is here in our city in the end of July. And so county fairs, craft fairs, just different community, like city festivals, stuff like that, you can typically get a booth. If it's over $100, really try to divide that time with other partners in your town. You're not going to get $100 worth of orders that day, but you could talk to somebody who becomes a team member like myself, who's now an international marketing director. You just never know who's going to be there that you're going to meet. And a lot of times, it's just great conversations and serious follow-up afterwards. But she said, this is a numbers game, and don't take anything too personal or too serious, and watch out that you don't start telling yourself stories about what they're thinking. And that's so true, right? Like, we can just start with those stories and they get out of hand really fast. And I think that's even where I'm at with this whole 90-day challenge. I start telling myself stories of what 90 people are going to say. I don't know what 90 people are going to say. There's no way I could know what even one of them is going to think or to say, but I've already projected 90 of them. That seems a bit extreme, Stace. So most people want a product to buy because it's a tangible solution. So they're not buying the product, they're buying the solution to the problem that they have. And I think that that's something to think about. And they're not buying us even, they're buying the solution to their problem. So are we asking questions to get to that point? What's the tangible solution that they're looking for? They're looking for things to solve a problem. They want it to be quick and they want it to be easy. Our job is to be the guide to the solution. We're not the solution. Juice Plus is. We are just the guide to that. And, if I think about, like, I'm not the solution, I can let go of a projected, conversation that they may be having in their head about me, because it's not about me, right? They're not buying me. They're going to buy that solution to the problem that they have. Juice Plus is that solution. I'm just the guide to that. So she said to remember how passionate you are about it. And that goes back to what Shelley was saying in that message. You could just feel the passion that she had and be super proud instead of hesitation. If we're thinking, I don't want them to think I'm selling something, people are going to pick up on that hesitation, and then they're going to take it as a lack of competence or a lack of belief in what you do. Isn't that interesting? It's not even a lack of belief in yourself. They're not seeing that. They're seeing a lack in belief in what the product is. Now, do we really believe that Juice Plus is beneficial to someone? I mean, I feel like I can share that with anyone. And I say that whether they're an infant or a 90-year-old lady, like, I can share that with anyone because of the simplicity of what the product is: fruits, vegetables, berries. And because of the research backs anything up that we're going to say, right? Nobody else has even close to that. So a lot of times it's not my lack of belief in the product that keeps me from having the conversation. It's stories that I've made up in my mind or quickly make up right on the spot of what they might say. And so when you're getting in your head, your passion wanes. When your passion wanes, your confidence is lost. When your confidence is lost, it looks like a lack of belief to the person that you're sharing with. And so she said to use words something like, oh my goodness, this would be such an amazing option for you. Or I can't help but share what I have been learning. I wasn't always planning on telling people about this or talking about this all the time, but I can't help but share with you the solution that I found. I liked those words. I can't help but share with you. And I think we've all said that different times too. Like, I can't help but share. And then having a process, listening to them, offering to send them a video, getting their information so you can text it right there. I like to make sure that the text goes through and that I have the right number. There's a gal I didn't do that with, and she hasn't responded. This is like the 4th follow-up. I could totally have the wrong number. And that's going to be my next message. Hey, just checking, do I have the right phone number? You may be busy, but I don't want to be texting someone that's, nobody has said, hey, wrong number either. So, but it is a way to just kind of come back to it. But I just liked that, sending the video. She sends the same ones. And then she said this, I'll tell them, I don't want to hound you, but I want to be professional. And I know how valuable this product is. I just want to make sure I'm doing my part and helping you make a decision. And then that's when she's talking about sending that video. And then she'll say, I'm looking forward to hearing what part of this 3-minute video that stands out to you. And then again, as she's following up, she'll say, I know how busy people are. I was just wondering if you've had a time to watch that video. I'd love to hear what stood out to you, because it's what stood out to them. That's where the compelling piece is, or the pain point is. So I really liked that too, like thinking through when they say what stood out to them, that's going to give you sort of a clue of where their headspace is and what they're looking for and what they want. And sometimes they don't really give you an answer. They're like, yeah, it was good. And they don't say much, but then at least, hey, they watched the video. So, it's what's interesting to them that's going to lead you to kind of further that conversation. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed with Shelly's conversation, it definitely sounded to me like that's a conversation on the phone, right? Like in that message, if you listen to it this morning, because the objection was, is this a pyramid scheme? And she was like, no, that's my husband's business. That's a lot to text out. It's just hard to really get to the meat of a conversation that way when you're texting. So much can be misread. If there's, any way we can get on the phone with people, if they're responding, just say, I'm starting to get carpal tunnel on my thumb sending all this unit. Maybe we should just hop on the phone and, or can we just hop on the phone? Like, just make it light and funny. And then can you get on the phone? If they're right there texting you, it's possible that they could talk to you right then, and you don't have to make it a long call. And you can say, I've only got about 10 minutes, but I thought we could be more productive if we could get to, really help you if we can just talk on the phone. And so that would be my reminder to you guys. Can you get on the phone with people versus just texting? And sometimes that's not the case. If we just call them, a lot of times they're not going to answer. But if you text, if you're in that texting thread, if you at that point say, hey, can we hop on the phone? A lot of times they will say yes. So just a lot more can get done at that point. And you can ask them about their life, and you can just have a much deeper conversation. So I hope you'll go back and listen to Shelly's message again. I feel like there's a lot that we could transcribe from hers too. I'll send you a couple of these notes from Catherine Lee's, but I would love to hear from you guys. It's day 3, so it's the 3rd. Has anyone sent out the message or a message? And have you gotten any responses back? What are your thoughts about the 90-day challenge? Let's just kind of chat about it. Anyone want to share? And remember,
Stacey, I haven't shared yet either. Go ahead, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa, I think you're.
I was going to say, I haven't shared that exact message because.
Hey, Lisa, I'm sorry, but we can't hear you well.
Can you hear me?
No, it's not a great signal. Oh, she popped off. Okay, sorry, Patty, go ahead.
I haven't shared either, but it's so funny because I'm already, got my list of people that I want to share with. I think it's easy for us in the holidays, like, oh, people don't want to be bothered, but I love your thought process. It's how we come across it. Are we having compassion and confidence, and are we excited? So I think that's a big part of it. And, I know because I think a lot of us have done 90-day games before, and it can be a little overwhelming. But I think you broke it down so it's a weekly thing, just like the DMO. If we can realize it's just one person a day and it's not that big a deal. So the other thing I wanted to say, because you had some great ideas about the booths and, different networks, groups is somewhere where you can fill your pipeline. You talked about craft fairs, but there's a lot of farmers markets and things going on. I know in our small town, we have a small farmers market type of thing. And it's just like you said, getting in front of people. So I love the thoughts that you're giving us.
So tell me, Patty, how did you build out your list? You said you've got a list of people. Talk us through that. How did you come up with the names? What was kind of your thought process on that?
Well, one is I've done past vendor shows, so I still have lists there. I never throw things away until somebody says, I'm absolutely not interested, take my name off your list. I always say, hey, maybe if something comes up in your area later, would you be interested? So I always keep it, and I always make notes in my phone. And then the other thing that Nikki Cotton taught us to do is when you I'm trying to find somebody right now and that has it, but when you put somebody in your phone, that you make sure you put where you met them. And I'm not coming up with that right now, but so in their workplace, you put where you met them. And if you put prospect, I put prospect /JP/Tower Garden. And that way, when I am looking for people in my list, I mean, who doesn't have hundreds of people in their contacts on their phone, right? And if I put in prospect in my phone, you can see that it brings up a ton of names, because when I entered them as a person in my phone or a contact, I put prospect and where. So I have endless prospects, and I mean, start from the back, start from the middle, if you feel like you've gone through your prospect list. It's just, we should not be running out of prospects. And like Eric Worre has said, you never delete somebody from your contact list. Everybody goes into your contact list, but just make sure you put where you met them. So you wouldn't like, hey, I don't know why I have your name in my list. Yeah, so you at least it's that relationship thing.
And so when you were building out your list of who you were going to send for this 90-day challenge, that's who you were pulling from?
Yes, and it's not complete. I don't have all 90, but I am starting it. I'm trying to stay at least a week ahead of it, so I know I have somebody to contact every day.
Yes, I think that's good, because anytime we can take the guesswork out of our head before we go into action, the better, right? That's why if we plan out our week ahead of time, Sunday night, give it 30 minutes, even Monday morning, sometimes Sunday nights I'm still in like the weekend mode. I just kind of am shut off, but Monday morning I can be productive. I want to be productive, and, just start writing, who am I going to see, and building out that list of activity to be able to do this week as we go through life, into the planner. I think that's important. And so, contacts on our phone. What if we just said A through Z? Today is A. Find somebody in your A contacts and send them that message. Then the next day, B. I mean, there's 26 letters, right? That's what's in my head, 26. Okay, so I think that's right. So that's 26 people. If you cycled that even, 4 times, that's 80, whatever. No, that's more than 90. So you could just do it simply from that way. What you got, Patty?
The other thing is when you meet somebody, if you meet somebody at the fireworks and you got talking about their kids' shoes or whatever, I think it's so important that I put notes in my phone, because I'm not going to remember. And when you call that person back or text, I'm like, hey, it was me. I met you at the fireworks. It means something to them that you remembered those details about it. So I just think it's really important. Our phones are so easy to keep track of why we met them. Or if you're at a vendor show, the mother with 3 kids and she, whatever, but put something in there that'll connect you with them, so you don't think they're just going down a list of names, that you have something personal to talk to.
Yeah. Okay. So we have contacts in our phone. We have past contacts from vendor booths. What about customers? Your customers, they're already on the product. They believe in it enough to invest in it. So you could say 1 customer a week, even if you wanted to do, go back to that customer list and invite them. You're probably going to get more of a result from that than you are just pure cold contacts, if you will. So keep that in mind. All right. Who else has already started build their list, or do you have something else that you want to say about the 90-day challenge? Thank you, Patty.
I'll try again. Can you hear me now, Stace?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Well, I moved. It's been raining in Maine for 3 weeks, so it's still raining and we don't have coverage. But what I was going to say is, so I was struggling with that transactional approach because I'm actually doing a course right now. And so I like some of the things you said about just the enthusiasm. One of the things I was going to say is I kind of started, so I have started, and even yesterday I was at church and I thought this was a new girl. So I went up to talk to her and we were talking, come to find out we met last year at the beach. And so that was kind of interesting because I was able to bring it back to, are you still going to nursing? Blah, blah, blah. You want to go for a hike? So what I kind of started doing also was themes. Like it seems like I've been meeting a lot of people who are pregnant right now. So that's kind of my theme of who I'm connecting with daily. Cousins, people that I've met that are pregnant. So that's another way, I guess, who do I know from, I don't know, baseball or whatever that your theme you want to be, but that's kind of an easy way to build your list. And I loved that you guys started that thought yesterday of building a list because that helps me too. I kind of have been trying to meet new people because my list in this area is a little stale. But the theme thing seems to be helping to connect with people and, getting to know them a little bit better. So I'm not sure I'll be able to go straight to that, what he would like us to say, just because, like you said before, if you don't know them that well, or you're just connecting back up with them, it's difficult to get there quickly. So.
Yeah. And I think that's a great reminder, Lisa. So, we may be building out like who we want to have the conversations with. That may not be the starting point. Like there's very few that I feel like that would be my like initial starting point. But if I have in my mind, that's what I'm wanting to get to of, hey, I love what I'm doing and I would love for you to do this with me. There are two girls in mind that I talked to them probably 20 years ago. I don't know if that long ago, but one of them, I know I talked with her sister extensively about Juice Plus. Like she was interested, just never did order. And then over time, it just dropped. Like 7 years later, I brought it back. And then like, I just don't even see her stuff on Facebook anymore, but I do her sisters. And I started a conversation with her about her exercise program. So think about, like you said, who do I know that's into exercise? Who do I know that's pregnant right now? Who do I know that has little kids? Who do I know from when my kids were little? Who do I know that used to be on Juice Plus? So canceled customers, right? Maybe, they're wanting to come back. Who do I know that's, had a great experience with Juice Plus, even if it was from before and they just got distracted. That's why I want to make everyone a team member because they stay longer. They even if they're not like doing the business, it's just a little bit more level of a buy-in, and they're more likely to stay on the product and stay at least in the education realm of interest and watch something every once in a while that's like, oh yeah, that's why I'm taking this. So if I want, I would rather have everyone as a team member than just a customer, if they will at least plug in a little. So I like all of that. All right. How about anyone else? You want to add anything? Thank you, Lisa, for sharing those.
Hey, Stacy, I wanted to say that I heard what Lisa said about being in the training. I think we're in the same training with Bob Heilig. And so when I saw this, I'm just going to be honest with you. When I saw the first thing come out, I was like, oh, how transactional that is. That is not going to work. Bob's teaching us everything against that. And so he had a coaching call on Friday morning, and I couldn't wait to get on there and ask him, So I got in and he asked for questions. I typed it in. I was the first one, and he called on me and I told him, I said, my company's doing this. And he's like, great. And I was like, really? So he totally took me off guard. It's like, I was surprised. He said, but as he talked through it, he said, you just, you can do it and not be transactional. And he said, I really like better that you're reaching out to have one new conversation a day, not, don't think of it as a person or whatever. I mean, I don't know exactly. I took notes, but I can't remember exactly what he said. But he said, think of it as he said, he actually said, if you're not having one new conversation a day, you're not doing a business. And I was like, oops, oh my gosh. But, and I do, and one other thing I want to say that's off that, but maybe in your chat, I'm not sure, but another chat this morning, I saw where somebody said, I really think they were talking about having business conversations, we're all people, not all, but we're product magnets. We are order magnets, but talking about our business, and I'm right there. I can get orders, but talking about the business is a whole nother level. And so I don't talk to people. I don't have a new conversation about the business every day. I don't have it every week, probably. So yeah, I'm guilty. So just being a little transparent there this morning.
Thank you. I'm glad that you asked him and that he had a positive response, because I know that there are quite a few guys that are doing the Bob Heilig. I just like listening to all of his podcasts too. We have the Airbnb, and as I clean, I listen to podcasts because it's nothing I need to watch. And his is one of the first ones I choose in that 2-hour window that I'm cleaning. And I really like what he's been teaching about. And he had one, I think I put it in our Voxer chat, about recruiting that was just really good, and having that conversation. And Marcia, thank you for bringing this back up. We're comfortable with the product conversations. That's easy for us, most of us, right? And I mean, the DMO is two by two new conversations a day. So building that out, that would be 10 new people a day. Go back through your planner. Do you have 10 people written in that new conversations? When I was really, really building, because I needed that income to pay the mortgage. I was having 2 conversations a day. I was serious about that. And I was very serious about having business conversations and business presentations. So for those of you guys that have had a product event, you've done the event, you've had, product event. Have you ever done a business event where you're bringing people that are interested in the business, and then you're doing a Zoom or a live event where you're sharing information about the business? And I see some of you shaking your head. If we're going to have 90 conversations, 90 people that we're talking to about joining our business, you guys got to build out some tools so that you have to take them to the next level. What video are you going to send to them if they're interested? Do you have a system in place, just like with your customer conversations? What product video you're going to talk to them about. What your follow-up is. It's not about having 90 flat conversations. These are going to be 90 messages to people, and it's building a pipeline of follow-up for months, probably another year, of people to have business conversations with. But you need some business tools and business resources that you can share with them. I love Julie Muse. Is that her last name? It's a 6-minute video, and it's very quick to the point of getting to Partner Plus. I do like Wendy Campbell's, it's the wow is in the numbers, the wow is in the something. I forget what it is now. She changed it, but it used to be the Juice Plus company pays us to learn. And I like hers. That one's 28 minutes. That's not going to be my first one I send to somebody, because I want, if they're still interested. And then I have one that I've done that is like a 30-minute. I've given you guys the slides to the business presentation that I did. If we need to revisit that and you want those back in boards, and I can show you, they're on jpstartup.com under presentations. There's the product one, which is the one simple change. And then there's the business. So it's jpstartup.com. And then at the top in the menu bar, look for presentations. And then it's the business one. I mean, I just pull that up and I just read through those slides and scroll through them. There's lots of options, but if you're not doing business presentations, I mean, like, what's the point of a health party or a health event If you're doing those and you find that those work, why would you not do them with a business? And I always try to get the husbands to come to the business event with their wife, because they're going to have different questions, right? And if you have a strong, a guy in your group, maybe it's your spouse, that you can just kind of coach them on, these are the things I want you to say, share your experience, then that builds confidence to them too. And so I just think that those are it's really smart. Like, if we're going to have business conversations, it's going to be easy to talk to them about Juice Plus, guys. Don't worry about that. That you got that. But do you have a system in place built out to follow up on the business side of things? What videos are you going to send? Could you, if your whole team is doing this, what if you did a business presentation to where all of your team gets to invite to that event on Zoom, where you're bringing all those people that have shown interest, and they get to have that, even if you just have the recording that you're able to send to them. But I've got the recording. I'll send you guys my business board that I send to them. It's not the perfect video. It's not the perfect board. It's not like they click on that board and they watch all of the things. I don't even know if they watch them, the 2 videos that I send, but it's still going to be the conversation. And I still have that validation. It's not just me saying it, it's someone else that's explaining it, and it's another resource. So, be thinking about that. Do you have the resources in place, so when these business conversations happen, you're able to go to that next step with them? Can you explain the basics of the compensation plan? Like, if you're hesitant on that, I'm not talking, you don't have to understand how POB works. I'm saying the basics. What does it make? What is the first, second, and third commission levels? What are the points that they need to be able to get to that? What is the structure to get to those first 3 commission levels, or those, that top commission level? Like, just that alone is going to help you in the conversation to know, like, what are your next steps with them. But if you don't even know the basics of that, don't you think that would be like walking into a conversation about the product and you don't really know how it's made, where it's grown, what's in it, what it's good for? Like, you're going to need to know some basic things, or at least have a great resource to be able to share with them, right? So same thing on the business. Don't cut yourself short by not being prepared for those conversations. Anybody else want to share something? Mercedes, are you able to talk? She said, I would love a future DMO call about setting up this system. The system of like the business side. Tell us a little bit more. I don't know if you can unmute yourself.
I can right now. Perfect timing. Thank you, Stacy.
Yeah.
This is the biggest block that I have. It's just, I do vendor events and I get some great leads. And then I go back to my office, or and I'm like, all right, what do I send them? And I get lost in all of the overwhelming amount of videos and verbiage and information, and I find myself just in that rabbit hole. And by the time, and then just other life stuff happens, and then I tell myself, what's too late to follow up now? It's way past the 48 hours or a week, and why bother? So I would love to just, if you can guide us through maybe on, okay, these are the videos that are available. This is the just setting up this system so that I can plug and play, because my ADD brain just doesn't allow me to do it by myself.
Yeah, so that's so good. I think, are you using boards, Mercedes?
I started to learn it, and I don't use them all the time. So again, it's developing that habit.
Yeah, well, kind of the cool thing about boards is it is a way to set up a system so that you have it and you don't have to set it up again. Like, once you work through it. So yes, there's boards with all the files and all the information that people have sent to us. But like you said, if you're constantly digging back through all of those files, that's not really that helpful. Where the boards app really helped me was making my own boards. And I don't know if you are on a team board, if you have that with your team, the Campbell team one has at the bottom, making your own board. And from there, that's where you're really customizing it. So I have, product messages, I have business messages, product pages, business pages. And so it's the setting up of those that are a little bit more time consuming, but once they're set up, then it's just plug and play. When I have the conversation, I just go to boards and I send them that link that's going to take them to the information I've already put in, or it's going to send them that verbiage that I've already thought out. And so just remembering to take this verbiage that we're getting from these, in the Voxer chat that I shared with you guys, and then plug it into a boards, make a new folder in your own boards that says 90-day challenge verbiage, and then, have those available to where you're not having to rethink every time, but you do need to set some time aside to come up with that system initially. And I can share what I have, and then you guys can copy and paste. There's not a way to take a page and copy the whole thing and then make your own information out of that page. You kind of got to copy pieces of it, copy the link of the video. But there's videos of how to use the boards, how to make a page and that sort of thing. You do have to dig into it, but I promise you it's really very worth the time. If you don't want to mess with boards, then find some way in your phone, like Marcia was saying, you can make a contact that says 90-day challenge, and then in the notes of that contact you could just put the verbiage, but you're going to have to copy it and then drag and copy, or you could put it just in the notes section of your phones. Find some place you're going to keep that information. Boards is easy because you can access it right from your keyboard.
Okay. Thank you for that reminder.
Whoever is your direct upline NMD, they're going to have some sort of system already in place that's what your team verbiage is and stuff like that. But if you don't, reach out to me personally, I'd be happy to share more. And it's just taking the time, sort of like Project Broadcast. If you guys haven't joined in on that, it's time consuming, if you will. It's a new thing you have to learn, but once you get it set up, it's beautiful. It's so easy to send that message. I could send this message to 90 people right now, and it would be the same message to all of them, right? But I could do it in one day with Project Broadcast. So maybe my super cold market, maybe I'll just do that one day, just send it to all of them and see what happens. I haven't heard from those from trade shows in 2 years. Why not try it? Who knows? But but that's what systems help you do, is that you're not always thinking every time you go into activity. That's what the DMO system is, right? We want to build into those systems so that when it's time to work, we're actually working and we're not thinking. We're not overthinking. We're not preparing each time. Prepare once. Have you guys heard the concept of touch it once in your life? Whatever it is, when you're cleaning, if there's something on the counter, don't move it from one counter to the other. Is that its home? Touch it one time. Where does it go? Don't pick it up and put it somewhere else and then somewhere else and then somewhere else. Pick it up one time, go put it in its home, and then move on to something else. And so kind of the same thing, we want to touch this one time, getting that system in place so that we can just go into action and not have to plan and overthink it.
Thank you so much. That was great.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, go ahead, Sony.
You actually can copy a page in boards. The instructions for that are on the Campbell team. And I popped the link in here to the pages folder from the Campbell team. I'll also put it in the DMO Voxer chat because seriously, I can't stress enough or echo enough that what Stacy's talking about with pages and boards, it's so simple once you have it set up. Yes, it takes a few minutes to wrap your arms around it to set it up, but it's worth investing that time. And then it's going to streamline everything so much for you when you're doing your flips.
Yeah. And remember, at one point they said if you were going to share, you only had 100 shares. And then after 100 shares, you had to pay for a certain amount. But they've backed that down. And now you get 20 shares from your phone a week for free. I think it's a week. And so I'm no longer running out of those like I was before. And then before, I just would go to the actual app and copy and paste from there. So it wasn't a big deal. But they've kind of reduce that requirement or whatever, a little bit more flexible on that. And thank you, Sony, for those links. And And kind of they've like, from how it was very first made, they've made improvements all along. And so now it is easier to be able to copy and paste. So thank you. And I'll put in our chat the boards that I have, and you guys can use those too.
Stacey, I wanted to say too, that for those who may not have been using the power hours or know about those, it's very encouraging to just get on and do that, because you begin to get into a routine, and you also hear from people, oh, this is what I'm doing, this is what's working for me, this is the verbiage that's working for me, this is the page, whatever. But you get into this kind of community, and then once you're in that power hour and you do them 3 times, and you can join the Facebook group, and then there are going to be more resources and help to encourage you to take on some of these tools, or just have, they're also posting the events in the Facebook group and all of that. So I've just found that just doing a power hour, just scheduling one a day, and they offer them at different times, and it changes every week, and that's really good. People are like, oh, well, I can't make it that. Well, you don't have to worry about that one this week. You can do it next week, because it'll be at a different time. So it's flexible, and there's lots of people doing them now. So you can find a time, even if you work full time, you can find a time that you can hop on for an hour. But what I find is when I get on there and I do that for an hour, I'm just energized. I'm energized to just keep working and go, oh, I was in the middle of this and had to move on to the next thing. I'm going to go back and work on my Facebook post, or I'm going to go back and continue that conversation with somebody who answered me or whatever. So it really energizes me to just keep on, working after I've gone through this. Kind of like it's like gets your engines started, like, gentlemen, start your engines. And then once you get your engine started, then the race is on, and you just want to keep laughing. Oh, I can't believe I just came up with that analogy. But anyway, I'm not into NASCAR, but oh my gosh, it makes sense. So there you go.
Yeah, keep that engine going. Keep laughing. I like that. Thank you, Marcia. All right. Well, I don't want to let this get too long. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here.